This
Opening.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Schifrin, and I will now call the meeting to order of the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission on Thursday, November 9th, 2023 at 7:02 p.m. Meeting is being recorded, and I'll take a roll call vote now for the quorum. Alan Pease,
Here.
Barbara Yocum,
Present.
Dean Valeri,
Valier here.
Valier, sorry. If I could just do the first names, I'd be fine. Guy,
Present.
we only got one. Kathy,
Here.
Kristen,
Present.
Kyle,
Here.
Rick Ward.
Here, but I'm a non-voter tonight. Guy's here.
Okay. And Roger Hoyt
Here.
and Laura Schifrin here. Thank you,
Stacy
everyone.
Donahue from Harvard. I'm here too.
Sorry, didn't get your first name?
Stacy Donahue from Harvard.
Stacy. Okay,
Hi, I'm here too.
thank
Madam
you.
Chair, Jeff Tillotson from Ayer is present.
Oh, hi, Jeff.
Good evening, guys.
And Madam Chair, Christopher Monroe from Hubbardston.
Thank you, Christopher.
And Amanda Reed from Lunenburg.
Okay, we have quite a group tonight. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Number 2 on our agenda, the MRPC minutes of October 5th, 2023. They have been sent to you. Is there a motion?
Corbisser, I'll move to accept the minutes as printed.
Jeff Tillotson, Ayer, second.
Okay, thank you, Guy and Jeff. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'd like to take a roll call vote. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Barbara Yocum,
Abstain. I wasn't present.
okay. Dean Valier,
I wasn't present. I'll abstain as well.
okay. Guy,
Aye. Don't know if I was here, but I'll vote aye.
yeah, you can vote if you weren't here, if you've read them, so that's all right. Kathy,
I'll abstain as I wasn't here.
okay. Kristen,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Rick Ward. Oh, he's the alternate. Okay. Roger,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Jeff Tilson,
Jeff Tillotson, aye.
okay. Christopher,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
and Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you. Number 3, cash schedule, acceptance of commissioners. Okay, requested. Our treasurer is here. I hope.
Linda will read the cash schedule tonight.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so the opening balances from September 30th, 2023 was $685,716.39. Cash receipts and transfers, the total receipts equal $284,201.89.
Linda, can you pause?
Yep.
Jason, can you make that more legible, please, on the screen for us? Because it's really just pixels. And thank you, sir.
Okay.
Is that better?
Keep going. It is better to answer your question, but if you could keep making it bigger. It's still pretty small. That's good. You were there before this one.
But I think it gets cut off when I go further.
That's okay. Just follow it down as she goes row by row. I understand your point,
No, I
though.
mean
Oh, I
left
see
to
what
right.
you're saying. Yeah, do the best you can. I leave it to your wonderful IT skills. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate your help.
Okay. So the total receipts, again, were receipts and transfers were $284,201.89. So the total cash on hand before the warrant was $969,918.28. Less the amount of this warrant, which is all cash disbursements, which is $422,667.41, leaving the balance after the warrant of $547,250.87.
Any questions? Okay, you want to go on?
Okay. I move to accept the warrant as presented, subject to audit. Guy Corbisero.
Jeff
there a
Tillotson will second.
Thank you, Jeff. If there's no questions or further discussion, I'll take a roll call. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Barbara Yocum,
Aye.
Dean,
Aye.
Guy,
Aye.
Kathy,
Aye.
Kristen,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Roger,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Christopher,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
and Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all. On to number 4, guest announcements and questions. Glenn? Do we have
Well,
any?
I don't see any guests here tonight unless George Kahali chimed in on the room, and I'm looking through the gallery quickly. He's our one consistent guest who has announcements. I don't see him, and unless you hear somebody, I think everybody else is staff and commissioners, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
then we'll go on to 5, administrative matters, 5.1.
So this is Digital Equity Planning Outreach and Focus Group, and I'm going to turn the microphone over to Jeff LeGros. Jeff's going to present this section, and we're going to give him, probably 30, 45 minutes. We want this to be robust, and I think that's probably why we have some more attendees tonight. Our average meeting attendance is 10. We have 13. And then we'll do a budget amendment and a hiring resolution for an intern after that. So back to you, Madam Chair Lady and Mr. LeGros. Thank you.
Okay, I know that we've gotten a couple of emails in reference to this already, so we're looking forward to the presentation. Jeff, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Glenn, thank you for the introduction. And commission members, many of you know me. For those who don't, I'm Jeff LeGros. I'm a senior planner here at MRPC, and I'm happy to be on talking with all of you tonight about the Digital Equity Planning Program, or the DEP program through the Mass Broadband Institute, or MBI. So the Massachusetts Broadband Institute has rolled out its municipal digital equity planning program, which provides an opportunity for cities and towns to access free consulting services to undergo digital equity planning, or to work on a municipal or a multi-town, say sub-regional plan for digital equity planning. And The two types of plans, we had a handout that was sent out in the first group email to everyone. The first type of plan is conducting a digital charrette, which is a gathering, a large gathering or workshop, interactive forum for a town to kind of assess their needs and for them to, gather input, bring together partners, stakeholders, and interested parties to learn more about their digital equity needs, their assets, and any gaps that they might have within their community. The second service that you can apply for is a full digital equity plan. And a digital equity plan consists of a full assessment of data needs as well as assets. And taking it one step further, it creates a community action plan or a strategic plan for accomplishing digital equity goals or addressing needs or barriers that might exist. In particular, there's a focus on several target groups, an interest in addressing needs for those particular groups, say senior citizens, low-income families, housing and transit insecure people, individuals with substance abuse or in substance abuse recovery, seniors, immigrants, immigrant communities or non-English speaking sectors of the population, and incarcerated or formerly incarcerated individuals, and everyone in between really that either doesn't have access to internet or doesn't have adequate access or adequate services, or who may lack the skills needed to adopt those technologies. So on a broad scale, we're looking at three different things. We're looking at the three components of access for internet or digital equity, and those are availability, affordability, and adoption. The program is free to communities, and MRPC is a qualified consultant providing those services, and we would like to serve as many of the Montezut regional communities as we can. Currently, we are serving several communities. We have 4 different projects, and those are for the town of Winchendon, who is doing a local digital equity plan, a full plan. Also for the town of Ashby, doing a local digital equity plan. And then we're serving a sub-regional group of the northwest part of our county or our region here for the towns of Royalston, Templeton, and Phillipston together. We're creating a digital equity plan for those towns, given that they have similar needs and in part share a school district. So we're working together with those 3 towns. On that note, we highly recommend towns that are not currently involved, if they are interested in becoming involved, to consider developing a regional partnership with a group of towns, or if you share a school district with your neighboring town or otherwise have common needs. We encourage regional partnerships for this particular project, and we're happy to work with communities and discuss that with them to help them apply together. We're willing to help them apply singly if the municipality wants to apply as a single community. But if you're looking to do a regional partnership, we're more than happy to help you with the application as well, and to try to coordinate and get you together with like towns with like needs. So either way, we're here to help. We're here to help you with the application process, and we want to provide the service to you, and we want all of our cities and towns to take advantage of this program. And the final city that we're working with is the city of Leominster, who is doing a digital equity plan as well. So yeah, like I said, we're really encouraging all communities to take advantage of this opportunity. There's a considerable amount of funds available right now, and there's a considerable push by the state and by the federal government to do work on this avenue. And yeah, don't miss the opportunity. It really is a good opportunity. And this particular program, participants of this program will then be eligible for additional funding in 2 different ways, really. There will be funds available to help these communities that do participate further advance the goals that are identified. And those will be sort of funds available directly to those communities. And then there'll be other competitive grant opportunities with larger sums of money, larger funding sources for those communities that they can apply to competitively as well to kind of implement some of the actions that are identified in the action plan. So that's sort of the gist of it. I have some talking points that I'd like to go through. There's really 10 talking points on the program, and then there's a one-pager that was sent out previously as an attachment. But if Jason could pull up the talking points, I'm happy to go through the 10 talking points here with everyone.
Which document is that, Jeff? The one pager, the digital equity outreach, or is it down below here?
Yeah, they're right there in the agenda, so you can stay right on that same document.
Oh, my bad. Hold on.
Make it easier. Or that one. Yep, that's fine too. Yep. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to read from my copy. I'm not going to read these word for word because they are available in the agenda so you can see them. I really encourage everyone to go through and look at those talking points because it gives you the details that you really need, and anything that I might gloss over or miss today. Please take a look at it. There's some links in there. Two important links are to the online application, of course. That's very important. There's a direct link to that, and that can also be accessed from MRPC's new digital equity planning webpage, which I'll talk about in a minute or two. The second link that's within the 10 talking points that's rather important is a statewide digital equity survey that's right now being conducted by MBI, the Massachusetts Broadband Institute. And the link to that survey is down below in talking point 9. So I encourage you to have a look at all of these talking points. Ultimately, it's letting you know, 1, that the services are available, 2, where to go to apply, 3, the different benefits to participating in the program and that the program would offer to your community, 4, an opportunity for cities and towns to get this service free of charge and work with their local regional planning agency, MRPC, as your service provider. And 5, we are pre-qualified. We want you to know that. We're here to work with you, and that means we can assist you not just with a charrette or a plan, but also in the application process. 6, we're looking we're currently working with several towns. We'd like to be working with more. 7, we've published a new in-depth digital equity planning program webpage. The link to that webpage is listed there. I'm going to go through that in a moment. Please check out the page. The most important thing there is all of the information is compiled in one place. You can apply, you can link to the program for the application, you can link to the survey, and you can link to additional resources from the bottom of the page. So really everything you need to know is also there in our webpage. So we tried to make it as convenient as possible to pull all this information together in one place. 8, between now and December 31st, we're going to be conducting outreach like today. At the next MRPC commission meeting, we hope to present even more information. We're going to give a summary of the asset inventory that's been done, and we're also going to talk about the kind of current status region-wide and statewide for digital equity planning, and we'll discuss some of the particular gaps or barriers that exist or that have so far been identified for the Montechusett region or for north central Massachusetts. 9, don't forget to take the survey, please. All of the information garnered from our local cities and towns will help to inform the statewide digital equity plan. Since every town's needs are unique, especially the needs of some of our rural towns in the Montechusett region, you want to make sure that you have a voice and that your information is considered and is part of that statewide plan. The best way to do that is by taking the survey. So please follow the link and go on and take the Massachusetts statewide digital equity survey. And finally, 10, We invite you to discuss how your community may benefit from the program. As you can tell, we have a lot of information, and I enjoy discussing it, and I look forward to discussing it with our communities. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We're standing by. We're here to serve you, and we're here to help you guys all apply. We should have many or all, most or all of our towns applying for this program, and I'd really like to see everyone get in on it. So don't hesitate to reach out. We can also come out and conduct an information session, or more of a visioning session, or a focus group within your local town if you do apply. And for the communities that are on here today, Winchendon, Ashby, Phillipston, Royalston, Templeton, and Leominster, we will be reaching out soon to schedule those focus groups with your community, specific to the grant application award or contract that we have with you currently. So we're going to be setting those focus groups up with you very shortly. And if you have any questions or additional information ahead of time, don't hesitate to reach out. With that, I'll just flip to a few questions. You may wonder, okay, so what types of things are we interested in here? Or if we're thinking about applying, or if we've already received a grant and we're going to be having a focus group meeting with MRPC soon, what types of things should we think about? And those types of questions that you might ask now, or you might start to gather information or think about, or spread the word to your local town officials and representatives, are things like, in what ways could your community help to inform local, regional, and statewide digital equity planning? I already kind of answered that by encouraging everyone to get on and take the survey. Another question would be, in what ways could this program benefit your community? I've given you some examples, but you guys should really be thinking about that and discussing it with your local officials and with other interested stakeholders in your community to really think about what the benefits are, and encourage them to apply so they don't miss out on that opportunity. And another one, for instance, what current digital equity programs does your municipality offer? Are there existing programs in place? Did your town implement certain things with digital equity as a result of COVID-19 and remote learning in the schools? Things like that. Would be interested in knowing what programs your municipality currently offers. Maybe they have education or informational sessions for seniors at the senior center, teaching people how to use the internet. Maybe there's other programs like that. Think about that. Jot them down, and we'd like to know about it. Whether you've already applied or whether you're going to be applying, it would be good to gather that type of information. And finally, is there a digital equity advocate or leader in your community? A lot of communities have someone who's passionate about this very thing, and particularly towns that have had lacking service in the past, such as Royalston, who's currently going through a real improvement and expansion of their internet equity and capability services. So some of those towns might have someone that's a leader or an advocate. If so, identify that person, get them involved, put them in touch with us. They could help with the application, and they can certainly help with the focus groups as we move forward. And then finally, who is that person, and how can we get in touch with them, and how can they get involved? So with that, I'm going to move on to the final handout, which is a one-pager that we had sent out by email previously, and we're going to be continuing to send out weekly emails, informational emails, at least until the end of December, and maybe ongoing for those communities that are involved or that do apply. And we hope that's all. So there's a chance we could continue to send these emails out for several more months to keep everyone informed on digital equity. So I've already discussed everything in here, but I wanted you folks to just be aware of this. This one pager does a really good job of explaining the program, how it works, what it is, and what it can do for you. So please take a look. If you weren't on that previous email that went out last week that included this, we'd be happy to make it available to you. Just reach out. And with that, in addition to that, with that first email, a digital equity outreach letter went out. And that outreach letter basically summarized this one pager. And it It really invited everyone to participate. It told the region about who we're working with now and what we're doing and what we can do for you. And it gave some good links to the webpage, to the survey, and to most importantly back to MRPC with my email address, encouraging people to get in touch and request any assistance they might need with the application. Or if you initiate an application on your own, let us know that you're going to be applying, or reach out to us if you want any help coordinating with other communities for a regional application. So all of that information is there. We hope you all got it, but anyone who didn't get it, please don't hesitate to reach out. jlegros@mrpc.org, and myself, Glenn, or Karen Chapman will be happy to assist you with any questions you have about digital equity planning. And if we're not available at the moment, we'll be happy to pass it on to someone else in our planning department. We're all working on this. It's all hands on deck. We're all excited about it. Finally, I guess with that, yeah, I mentioned that we'll be presenting another sort of informational session at the next MRPC meeting. That's just going to be a quick presentation of the current status and some assets and gaps that have been identified. And that's just a short 10, 12 slide presentation that we're starting to pull together now, but we'll have ready for you at the next meeting to keep you guys informed and to follow up on any interest that's generated from this meeting. So with that, there's one final thing I would like to do, and that's just show you guys the new webpage. Jason, if you could be so kind as to pull it up. And with that, I'd also like to thank Jason. This is a perfect opportunity since he's the one doing the technical assistance here for the meeting. He's also the one who put this webpage together with the information from our planners here. And you'll see, I don't think I'll be the only one that thinks that this is a really great website. It's informative and well done. So thank you, Jason. And please go on and check it out. The direct link is mrpc.org/digital-equity-planning. And as you scroll down, Jason, you can see that there's a link of how to apply to the program. There's a link for taking the survey. Below that, there are it just discusses and shows the towns that we're currently working with. Would like to add your town to that list, so please reach out or go online and get an application started. And then finally, at the bottom, there are several resources listed here, some of the main or primary resources that are most important to the program. And then below that, we have a map that you can visit and look at. It's an interactive map of broadband services throughout the state, and it's a very informative map that you can click on and look at different speeds and availability for every community. You can click on your particular community or any community of interest to get additional information if you want to dig down to the community level. And finally, the additional resources link at the very bottom, just above the map on the left-hand side. If you can click on the additional resources, it will take you to a full list of resources that has reports, studies, plans, and links to other websites, things such as the Affordable Connectivity Program, something that's a very important, not directly part of this program, but that this program is doing its part to help promote. The Affordable Connectivity Program provides residents who are eligible in either eligible areas or income eligible or otherwise eligible residents. The list is pretty vast of people who are eligible to receive a discounted rate for their internet services. And we encourage everyone to not only look at our website and get involved in this digital equity planning program, but we encourage people to get the word out to their residents, community members, and spread the word on the Affordable Connectivity Program so that everyone can take advantage of this program. The funds are there. People are signing up by the thousands, probably millions, and the goal is to get as many people as are eligible to sign up for that program and receive their discounted internet services. Because as you'll see at the next commission meeting, I won't get into it too much now, but one of the big barriers in our region happens to be affordability. Internet is a little bit more expensive in our area than it is in some other areas, and there are financial barriers to affording those services, and it's limiting and preventing some people from getting it. So would like to encourage people to learn about the Affordable Connectivity Program as well. Okay. Oh, another thing to mention is we have a AmeriCorps lead program representative or person here in our office. Chloe has joined us about a month ago, and she's here working on outreach to the communities through an AmeriCorps lead program. And we're happy to have her here. She'll be reaching out and conducting some outreach and conducting some meetings with local stakeholders. And you may hear from her as well. And probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be sending out more information on one of our weekly email push outs where we'll be sending out information about that program and the services that she can provide to the communities. And that will be discussed at the next commission meeting too. So look forward to that information one step at a time, but there's really a lot to this. We have a lot to offer, and we hope that everyone takes advantage of it.
Thank you, Jeff. It's quite informative. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Jeff?
Guy's got his hand up.
Yes, I do. Jeff, we're having a stakeholders meeting near the end of the month, and I was just wondering if that will be just us because of the lead person that called it, or will somebody from MRPC be coming up, like you or Karen?
Is that stakeholder meeting with Chloe, the lead representative?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking here. Just got the email, Digital Equity Planning Stakeholders Kickoff Meeting.
So I believe, Guy, that is going to be with us. I think Karen is working on setting that meeting up. So we will be there, and we'll have more than one of our planners present there. So yes, we will be there. And
okay, great.
If it's something different, Guy, please let us know. And the same thing goes if there are any other digital equity or internet type things going on in town, any presentations that you hear of or any activities related to the subject that are being conducted by another stakeholder or another entity, please let us know and fill us in. Our local contacts like you are important. If there's anything else happening, we want to know about it so that we can participate and learn from it and help to give information and get information to really round things out. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to that kickoff meeting. I think that is the one that Karen and us at MRPC are going to be putting on. And if there are other future opportunities to participate in a community event or another meeting that you know of, don't hesitate to let us know. We'd like to take this show on the road, as they say, and it really is the best way to get information out there. And this particular program, that's what it's all about. So you're going to see us, we're going to be out there, and we'll probably be visiting Winchendon and other towns on several occasions over the next several months.
Well, I know we've been in contact with Karen for about 3-4 months now, so I imagine it's with one of you guys, and looking forward to asking lots of questions.
Yep, it is. And the wheels are starting to roll now. Through the last few months with contracting and getting everything in order and getting staff on board and Chloe's position and all of those different things, I would say the digital equity wheels are rolling now. So you'll definitely be seeing more of us, and we'll be seeing more of you. And yeah, we're excited about that. And the same thing goes for other communities, whether you're already involved and have a grant or whether you're thinking about applying. Please let us know if there are occasions or events coming up that we can come out and give a small presentation like this in your town, however it might help, and to connect with individual stakeholders and conduct some listening sessions and some focus groups to really get down and gather information. So please, don't hesitate to reach out if you have an event coming up or an occasion that you think we might be able to come out to and have a presence at.
Okay, thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Guy, for your question. Does anybody else have any questions for Jeff? Seeing none, I'd just like to say as a courtesy that if you're not speaking, please make sure that you're on mute, because I know something was coming through while Jeff was speaking, okay?
I think that was actually, for some reason, that was Guy's connection that was doing that every once in a while, but he was in the process of talking at the same time.
Okay,
That was my pressure cooker going off about every 60 seconds.
okay. We know you're going to eat tonight then. Okay, 5.2 budget amendment. Glenn, is it yours?
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you. And what we'll do here is I'm going to summarize each paragraph, not read every word. There are some paragraphs I'll read sentence fragments so everybody's on the same page. So this is about a budget amendment to make sure that the commissioners understand exactly our financial position a third of the way or 4 months into the fiscal year. I'm presenting a more conservative budget amendment this evening, and you get a peek inside how we manage the budget throughout the year. So what we started, the first paragraph says what happened in late 2023, early of this calendar year, okay? But late fiscal 23 and early fiscal 24, but most of this calendar year, we had received a lot of awards, federal, state, and local contract awards. The second paragraph says, due to that significant increase, we didn't have enough employees. So as you've heard the last 6 meetings or so, give or take, we had to advertise, hire folks. That happened for about 6 months. One person was transferred from the planning and development department over into the transportation department. And then we hired 3 new people in transportation and brought on a couple of interns as well. Thanks, Jason. That's wonderful. My old eyes can see this much better. The next paragraph that says, starts with MRPC has nearly achieved parity. So that's the paragraph we want to look at next. Thank you, sir. So we're basically about balanced, but we need more revenue coming in for the rest of the fiscal year for the next 8 months to make sure we hit a balance point, and the seesaw is perfectly balanced by June 30 of 2024 at the end of our fiscal year. We don't need any more full-time personnel right now. After this budget amendment, which is item 5.2, you'll see later 5.3, I'm recommending we hire for a very brief time, 1 to 3 months, a communications intern to help us with website updates and do some outreach that helps with digital equity planning and other things, and website overhauls as well. There will be other handouts we'll talk about after the end of this narrative, which will be done in about 5 or 6 minutes, and that'll be the projected revenue, expenses, and the salaries. We'll talk about that later. So I think we can go to the top of the next page, Jason, top of page 5. We'll hit the next paragraph. So below, we're going to look at a summary of the most pertinent points for the budget amendment. The next paragraph, to construct the FY24 budget for the purpose of today's proposed budget amendment, the management team has eliminated potential revenue sources as follows, because we want to eliminate in our spreadsheet / budget amendment these 6 revenue sources. And you'll see the logic in about 3 or 4 minutes. But we want to wipe these off the spreadsheet, but keep them as placeholders, keep the narrative, but take the numbers out of the formula as revenue. That's the bottom line. These are the 6, and I'll explain in a minute why. The next paragraph, elimination of the revenue in the previous list, would lead to a proposed deficit. Jason, if you could pan down. Thank you, sir. Would lead to a proposed deficit of $219,000 and change, or 9%. If no additional revenue were to be obtained during the next 8 months, the data points, then that's if nothing else can happen. That's how we would end the year, but we're not going to end the year that way. But if you don't do something during the year, and this is where management works with the planners and everybody in GIS to pull in revenue through the year to pay the bills. So this is a worst case scenario. And then how do you manage your way out of it? So this table, the top of the table, talks about a conservative revenue projection. So the proposed revenue right now is 2.2 million and change. The proposed expenditures about 2.437 and change for the proposed surplus deficit of about 219,000 or 9%. There's a projected overhead rate calculation there for people that like to track the overhead rate. I like to track it every time we look at projections. If we go to the next paragraph below the table, so if none of the additional projects are awarded, that was in that bulleted list above, this is kind of a repeat, or just a recapture, we'd be about 219 down. If we don't plug the deficit, what you do is, and we've had to do this twice in the last 16 years, if you can't plug these deficits, then you have to cut costs, personnel or non-personnel expenses, or a combination of both. Next paragraph says, however, we're only a third of the way into the fiscal year. We have 8 months to obtain local, state, and federal contracts, get additional grant opportunities to increase our services to communities, and maintain the current level of human resources. So this sets the stage for, we monitor the situation. We're proving tonight that we want to tell our planning commissioners, we just don't, run around saying, oh, we hope the money will come in. We do manage this. We watch this at least every 30 to 60 days. We go through these calculations. So we'll go to the top of page 6, and we will explain that. So now I'm shifting gears, folks. We're taking a more positive view. We believe that 5 of the 6 above contracts may be awarded to the MRPC, coupled with the possibility that the likelihood of MRPC working on the Lancaster master plan is still up in the air. That was the first bullet. That was the first thing I took out of the budget. I really don't see the Lancaster master plan happening this fiscal year. Well, I say it's up in the air. My gut tells me it's just not going to happen. But the 5 remaining non-Lancaster contracts will probably be awarded. And if so, then we can chip away at the proposed projected deficit from 219,000 negative down to about 98,000 in negative, or about 9% to about 4%. In the next few months, we hope to chip away at the deficit by about 5%. So the following table, let's look at the top of the table, please. And what the top of the table says is what I said above. We've got about a 219,000 proposed deficit. Now, what happens, Jason, if you could put Westminster Master Plan, that top row at the top of the screen so people can see it. So what happens if you get the Westminster Master Plan and you sign a contract, let's say, November 15th for Westminster Master Plan, and let's say you sign it for $123,500. Now, I'm not going to blow smoke in anybody's eyes and say the whole $123,500 is available this fiscal year. No, because that would be false. Now, a master plan is 2 years worth of a project. We might realize about 25%, give or take, of the revenue of the 123, which should be 3875. So if you take about 25% of that 123 and put it into this fiscal year, you chip away at the deficit. So your 219 goes down to 189,699. I'm not going to bore you with the details of every line item in here, but slowly scrolling down, Lancaster DCAM, what if that comes in? You reduce the deficit to 6.8%. If you come up with zoning bylaw updates for Westminster, you go down to 6.2%. If you get a Lancaster housing production plan, you go down to 5.2%. And I think there's one more row on the next page. Thank you, Jason. So if we do the Templeton EDIC economic development plan, you get down to that 4% that I mentioned above. Let's talk about the next paragraph. Regardless of which scenario occurs, the management team, we will be supported by all the senior planners and others on staff. Basically, everybody's, in the engine room throwing coal into the furnace. And I'm going to have a staff meeting around December 1st to say it's important for everybody to throw coal into the engine room to keep the steamship going. Okay, so it's a team effort. But we will solidify the above opportunities. We'll create new services for our communities and obtain other funding. We have not pursued, in parentheses in the end of that paragraph, such as the state's one-stop program and the community compact program. Those are new revenue sources. Folks, bluntly, I run the place like a business when it comes to dollars and cents. We have services. We can increase our services and provide more services. There are 2 or 3 planning programs under the state's one-stop program and the community compact program. So those are, if this was a private sector business, we'd be creating new services. We'd be going after the revenue and expanding our services to our clients, our 23 local jurisdictions. And that's what it's about. It's about, we have a captive audience of 23 clients. We can't increase the number of clients that much. Although we have in the last 5 years, since 2017, done a lot more nonprofit work. And that is now a slice of the pumpkin pie of revenue. So we do that now. Also, we've done a couple of community health needs assessments for Haywood Hospital in 18 and 21. We did another one for UMass Health Alliance Clinton, about 21, 22. And we do other nonprofit work. We work with China 9, we work with Growing Places and others, and that's opened up the doors to new revenues. We're not shy about going after money that's funded by ARPA or BIL, by bipartisan infrastructure planning, new EDA filter, future industrial lands, and so on and so forth. So, concluding the presentation, as a part of the amendment, I would like to talk about and just summarize the spreadsheets. Jason, if you could shift gears and pull up the in this order, the revenue PDF, and then we'll go to expenses PDF, and then the personnel. Thank you, sir. So this is the revenue side of the budget. The top is the federal, the federal revenue sources that we have obtained in contracts. If you see a contract number in column B, that's a contract we have. If you see TBD in rows 11 through 14, those are to be determined. In other words, are we going to get those? Now, row 11, TBD, we should assign a contract number there. That's a contract now. Most of that's outsourced to a consultant, but that happened. The row 12 took place. We got to put a contract number in there. 13 just got signed recently, and row 14 is about to be signed. So those are really turning into contracts. Can we look at the state contracts, please, Jason, for the revenue side? So there's only 1 or 2 or 3 TBDs in there. And if it says DLTA, we're entering the 16th or 17th year, 17 year of DLTA programming. So that contract should be within, well, we get the contract for the last 16 years between October and February. So that's about when we get the contract. And then those PAGs, those PAGs on row 29 and 31, I think we're entering year 6 or 7. Karen's been very diligent and successful in bringing planning assistance grant or the PAG program to us. Jason, can we look at the local revenue, please? And we're rounding out the revenue discussion. So this is where I threw a line through row 45, Lancaster Master Plan Update. This is a signal from Glenn to the commissioners and staff that we're probably just going to delete that for the next iteration of this budget, next time we do the final amendment between January and June. 46 and 47 are pending award, and then we anticipate the next. These are the 5 bullets that I said, well, let's take them out to do them more conservative, but we anticipate these coming back in. So total projected revenue, 2217938. Jason, could you pull up the expense side, please? Expense PDF, I should say. So let's go right down to the bottom, Jason. And that's where the summaries of all the, and if people want to go back, we'll go back. That's not a problem. I just really want to concentrate on rows like 108 to 112. So the total expenses is about 2.4 million, 2.437. That exceeds the 2.2 by about 212 or 219,000. You can see in the red an estimated surplus deficit of 219 or a 9.0% projected deficit. So that's what I talked about in the narrative with a projected overhead rate of about a 132.27%. Jason, could you go to the salaries PDF, please? So we hired some people. We promoted some people, we took on a couple of interns, and then I just want to highlight that all of these numbers in the second, or technically the third column that's entitled total FY24 salary expense, those are all the salaries that were adopted in June of 23 for July 1st FY24 start date. Rows 19, 20, 21, those are 3 interns. So intern C is Corey Castle, intern on 20, intern MC is Maitri Shinjekshikar, and intern DB is Dorothy Bresnahan. Dorothy Bresnahan is subject to the item 5.3 in the agenda, subject to a hiring resolution. So those are all the salaries we're dealing with this year, and they total a little under 1.4 million. So as I've said before, we are, if we have about 2.4 in revenue, we have 1.4 in salary. That's typically the ratio. About 60% of salary, give or take. Or if you want to just oversimplify, about half is salaries and about half is overhead. If we could go back to the detailed agenda, please, Jason, for the budget resolution for the. So the resolution be it resolved, the Montezuma Regional Planning Commission hereby approves the FY24 budget amendment as presented in the above report and accompanying revenue, expenditure estimates, and salaries for all personnel identified within the budget doc. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm requesting tonight, is that we basically, we owe you this data. We should do this no less than every 3 years. 3 years, I apologize. No less than 3 times per year. Love the photobomb in Jason. I think that's Waffles photobombing, and that's just wonderful. We never see that on Jason's side. It's nice to see Waffles. We haven't seen her during the pandemic. And that's what we're asking for. Now, what we do, just so you know, You will see this probably in January or February again, probably February at the latest. You will see this in June. We'll probably do 2 more amendments, or at least a presentation and then an amendment at the no later than the June meeting of 2024 for FY24. So things will settle, the dust will settle by then. So I'm respectfully requesting an amendment to solidify the numbers before we go on to 5.3. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. I'm done with the presentation.
Thank you for the detailed presentation. So I will entertain a motion that it be resolved that the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission hereby approves of the fiscal 24 budget amendment as presented in the above report and accompanying revenue and expenditure estimates and salaries for all personnel identified within the FY24 budget document. Is there a motion? Will somebody move the resolution?
Madam Chair, Jeff Tillotson, I will make the motion for you.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there a second?
Alan Pease, second.
Thank you, Alan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Barbara Yocum,
Aye.
Dean V.
Aye.
Thank you, Dean. Guy. Guy. He must be at his pressure cooker. I think I'm right too. Kathy,
Aye.
Kristen,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Roger,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Christopher,
Aye.
and Amanda.
Aye.
Guy, are you back? Okay, Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all. 5.3, Glenn, will this be yours as well?
Yes, it will. If Jason, if you could scroll down to 5.3, please. The gist here is that I'm respectfully requesting the hiring of an intern. Okay, back up real quick. So at the top of 5.2 on the budget amendment report, I said we've been advertising forever for multiple staff positions. So we've hired and promoted senior planner. We've hired for a principal planner. And we took those off the website. We're not advertising for those full-time positions anymore. As I indicated, we can't afford the full-time people. We're at parity. We're at balance. I'm leaving the intern request, advertising for our interns on the website forever. Bluntly, we're trying to develop a pipeline from interns to planners for the future. We're going to do this the next 3 years. That's the backdrop. So interns is still up there. So we had a resume submitted for someone in the communications world that's working on delivering website updates, social media pushes. Bluntly, folks, we need outreach. And this digital equity contract and digital equity planning and outreach contracts that we have with the communities and the general one for outreach, this is a perfect opportunity to get someone who is bluntly delivering these services to 2 other entities, 2 nonprofits right now. And I interviewed her, Dorothy Bresnahan. She goes by Dottie. Interviewed her about a week, I think it was last Monday or Tuesday, with Holly in a formal interview. I think it was a week ago Tuesday. And I'm recommending that we hire Dorothy. Dorothy is looking for full-time employment. She'll probably find full-time employment, let's say in 3 months, but I'm trying to capture some talent that gives us an opportunity to help us. By hiring Dorothy, what she's going to do is help us develop a plan for like an outreach plan, website update plan, social media push the buttons plan, and this is what we do. And bluntly, if you want to do things, this is not always true, but if you want to do things, I have found in social media and website updates, you get somebody 14 to 24. Now, the people like Holly and Jason and Brad are technical people that can do these things, but they're very busy. And I just want to basically hire some horsepower for about 5 hours a week for up to 6 months, but my guess is she would probably be gone in about 3 or 4 to get some help, to get the outreach done. We need better communication with our clients, our communities, tell them what we're doing, and create a LinkedIn page for the company, for the organization, to say we have a business page and this is what we do. So anyway, that's really the gist of these 2 paragraphs, is to hire a very qualified young individual to help us with this. Jason, could you scroll down toward the resolution, please? That would be a resolve to hire Ms. Bresnahan as a communications intern for a short period of time. She would be making $17 an hour, which it says there in the bottom of the report, for no more than 10 hours a week, for period not to exceed 6 months. That's the gist of the resolution. Back to you, Laura. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so may it be resolved that the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission hereby approves of the Executive Director's recommendation to hire Dorothy Dottie Bresnahan, as stated above, to accomplish the aforementioned objectives. And I could add the 17 per hour, no more than 10 hours a week. Will somebody make that motion? Move the resolution.
This is Barbara, so moved.
Thank you, Barbara. A second?
This is
Alan
Kathy. I'll
Pease, second.
second.
Oh, Kathy, nice to hear from you. I'll have you do the second. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote. Alan Pease,
Aye.
Barbara Yocum,
Aye. And Glenn,
Pete?
I think we should also put Waffles to work.
I concur.
Okay. No salary included there. Guy,
Excuse me, Laura, I think he logged off.
he logged off?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Kathy,
Aye, yes.
thank you. Kristen,
Aye.
Kyle,
Aye.
Roger,
Aye.
Casey,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Christopher,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
and myself, Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all.
Dean Valier, Lemonster, aye.
Oh, I did say Dean, and I thought you answered. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Thank you for the correction. 5.4, other administrative matters. Glenn?
I have none.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice for all of us, trust me. I know.
I know some of these items are just on every agenda and that there may not be something. So on to number 7 and department updates. 7.1 GIS. Is there any
I have
update?
no new updates at this time.
Thank you. 7.2 planning and development. Any updates? Hearing, seeing none. 7.3 transit and transportation.
I'm here. Karen's not here today. I'm here on her behalf. There are currently no new updates from our department, but I would like to say that it's been nice having Joe Boyle and Tracy on board, and we are working collaboratively and really enjoying working together over the last month or so. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So that was planning and development. Anything on transit and transportation?
No new real information, just a couple of items. The MPO is meeting next week on Wednesday, the 15th at 1 p.m. There'll be a tip amendment discussed and possible new tip amendment coming out on the transit side. And then on the Safe Streets for All grant, we have received, our RFP has closed. We received 7 proposals. We're reviewing those. We have a couple interviews scheduled for next week, and we hope to have someone selected by the end of next week.
Thank you for
That's
that.
it.
Okay. Number 8, new business. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments? I don't see any, but I do for everyone, all the commissioners in particular. Our community, Townsend, is going to be addressing CPA, the Community Preservation Act. And I was wondering how many of the communities that are in the region participate in that.
That's an
Anybody?
answer. We can definitely get, I think anecdotally, we should hear from the commissioners, but Laura, just so you know, we can get that, and Jason's already doing it. There's a list online. Jason, thank you for your help. And if you want this emailed, we can get it to you.
Okay,
Leave it to the GIS to help. Knocking it out of the park.
okay. So that's on our website. Is that part of our Montechusett Regional Planning website?
No, I just Googled this, but I could put this link in the chat for everyone in a second.
Oh, that would be great. Or could you email that?
Yeah, I can send this to Holly, and Holly can email it to the list.
Okay, so I was at a meeting just before this one, which was our Housing Authority and the Board of Selectmen brought up about we're having presentation or discussion at the special meeting on November 14th. And they actually asked the question, does MRPC help with presentations for the CPA? And I don't remember hearing anything, at any of our meetings about it. But because the CPA, the requirements of that have changed so much since CPA first came out, and because our town rejected it twice already. But when it first came out, it came out as being a tax only on sale. So if somebody was selling their home, it was an additional cost to the buyer, the purchaser, the end cost at any rate. It failed because nobody felt that was equitable. Now it's up to the Board of Selectmen to create a percentage of real estate tax that everybody will be paying in town. Every real estate tax paying citizen will pay it, and it's much lower, spreading it across everyone. So we're thinking now that we have a chance of getting it because if you're not involved, you don't get the benefits of it, and also it counts against you when you're going for other grants. Jason, do you have any comment to that? Has MRPC ever been involved in presentations for CPA?
I haven't been involved in any presentations for the Community Preservation Act.
Let me try to help. At the core of what an RPA is supposed to do by a state enabling statute is to provide education, technical assistance, and training to our communities. So that's like objective number one in the state statute. So I'm getting a request right now, a verbal request from a commissioner that we owe you education and training, you meaning the collective you, all 23 local jurisdictions. So Laura, what my takeaway is I have homework tonight. I will work with our staff. We will coordinate a training. We'll bring in an expert that knows about this, whether it's a community that deals with it and or a state official. And what we'll do is we will do two things at least. We will make this a day job training and a lunch and learn. And and then B, we will certainly bring this back to the commissioners meeting. So that way, if somebody wants to go to a day meeting, that's great. But if somebody can't make a day meeting, then we'll have it at a commission meeting, and we might put it at other meetings, like an economic development SEDS meeting or something like that. So we'll work on this the next couple of weeks, and we'll bring the education back. So we don't have experts on the staff that know about CPA. If you ask about other alphabet soup, we might have people, but we don't know about everything. So we will work on this right now and get the training to you folks. So please look into your emails after Veterans Day and maybe just after Thanksgiving for something coming up. But Jeff and Karen's department will help on this a great deal. So, and I see Jeff nodding. Jeff, if you want to contribute, please do so.
We've started to actually pull some information together, Laura, and we were in the process of beginning to compile information to help inform communities just like Townsend that are looking to do this. And our hope was to create a spreadsheet, which we've already started to create. We hope to create a spreadsheet based on the actual terms of CPA that would then help to provide you with a calculation of numbers or ranges of actual cost per individual taxpayer based on the different, one, it would matter based on the value of a home, and two, it would matter based on the proportion that the town decides to adopt. And we can continue to pull that information together, like Glenn said, and at his direction, hopefully have something to present either alongside an expert that might come on board or as a tool that we can send out to your community and others like yours to hopefully make more informed decisions, but also to provide better education to the public and to the voters. Because one thing we found in the past is that there were a lot of misconceptions about the CPA program and what the actual costs were. And there's really a lot of there's some variability in range. And so really being able to look at that and paint a clear picture and tell a full and true story is something that we realized was missing. And that's why we started to pull together that information. Sometime, in the recent past, we started to pull it together. So we have a start on that. And I think we can do just that, give you some information, hopefully that helps to, give actual factual information and clear up any misconceptions.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Jeff
Yes.
Tillotson, Mayor. Anecdotally, I was not here when AIR adopted the CPC to begin, the CPA. We call it the CPC internally. About a decade ago, it was initially adopted. The rate on sales was, I think, 3%. It was lowered to 1%. Since then, it's been raised again to 3%. It is on every single tax bill every single year. Our residents vote for it unanimously in town meeting, and they vote for it unanimously because they see the value of what it's bringing to our town. So there's two discussions. One is, oh my God, my tax bill is going up, which is always a very difficult discussion. And the other side of the coin is, well, we have 10 families who are in a rental assistance program through our Affordable Housing Trust now that receive up to $6,000 a year in rental assistance. It's done two things. It has brought landlords who had non-compliant and dangerous units into the fold because they're getting a guaranteed portion of their rent every month. They like that. It's allowing us to keep people in town who are in trouble for a period of time while they stay in the program, and we're learning about that. And I'm also speaking as the chair of the Housing Trust right now. Through the planning board, I got appointed to the Housing Trust. I couldn't step back fast enough. So like Glenn, I got too many hats during the day. But I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you anecdotally about how it worked, about what we did. And before I got involved in the affordable, because we didn't have a housing trust 3 years ago, we created it with CPC funding. We have funding now that comes from a source because it's one of the three uses of the funds you can do. There's a woman here in town named Janet Providakis who is just phenomenal at figuring this out and getting it done, and she has been the standard bearer for it. And Laura, if you wanted to find time for a coffee or something, she works 12 on, 12 off, so she's got a difficult calendar, but I'd love to put us together to talk about, we got bruises, we got some wins, we got some losses along the way. We discovered that the conversation about the value of the programs that it allows is way more important than the 1%, 3% on your tax bill. I'm not that familiar with Townsend, but here in AIR, we got a little red schoolhouse that was everyone's problem. Well, guess what? CPC just put a roof on it and fixed it so it's no longer deteriorating. The whole town thinks that's great. No one in the town uses it, but they love it. But now weddings are being pictures. It has such a positive impact that people just say, this is great. So I'm a great believer in it. It impacts me personally. Yeah, my tax bill went up. I'm looking at retirement. I don't want more cost. But the other side of the coin is the value that the CPC funds bring and the categories that they are allowed to be spent upon. Once you've built that nest egg, if you will, it's a breath of fresh air at town meeting when you've got an expense that everybody wants to do, but nobody wants to raise taxes for it. The money's there, it's in the bank, it can be used. Also, depending on how you do it, and I'm not exactly sure on this, we recently raised it back to 3% because there's a match from the Commonwealth. It's not a full 3% match. I think we get if we are at a 3% rate in our tax bill, I think we get a 1 or a 1+% match from the Commonwealth every year.
Mm.
The folks in air love free money, and that really is free money. Yeah, it's better than you can do on a savings account. So
Yeah, I'm very appreciative of this conversation because it leads into my next question. Because I just met with the Housing Authority before this meeting, and we developed, I hope this conversation helps others. We developed our trust 2 years ago. So it's in its infancy, and funding it is in its infancy. So this would be another way to get funds towards housing and housing assistance going through this as well. So my other question to everyone was, and then again, if staff has to look at this, is how many of our towns in the region or cities have housing authorities? Do they have housing authorities that manage property? Because that's also the only other way that you can get more affordable housing and funds into your trust. So they're looking for assistance in this. You know, we tried so many things through the HUD 203s and everything else to try to get more housing in town that was affordable, and we failed trying to get veterans housing. We had the land, but it failed at town meeting. So, but yet we're mandated to get more housing. So is there a way that we can have a workshop, speak with other towns that are already doing this and have management? I don't know. Is that a question?
So if I may, on the education side, I'll just repeat briefly what I said earlier and then go to the chat function in this window also. But we can pull together an education scenario around that. Again, it would fall in the Karen and Jeff Department of Planning Development. It's under housing. So we can do some educational work there. So let's get back to that. Jeff, could you take a note on that also? I see you nodding, and I really appreciate that. In the chat function, I just Googled for the Massachusetts, the list of housing authorities. And if you go to the chat function and click on that link, that is a list of all the housing authorities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So that just gives you a list of names and phone of entities and phone numbers and addresses, but it doesn't do the educational piece. So we'll work on some education, and please click on that link if you need to reach out.
Well, I'd like to ask that you email that to all the commissioners. It's easier than trying to get it out of the chat.
Yeah, you got it. Holly, would you make a note if you just click on that and save it for us, and we can get that out to the commissioners by Monday? Yes.
And we can also pass it along to our local housing authorities or any of them that have the questions. So I really appreciate that information, and hopefully that is helpful to others as well. So is there anything else now that I've taken up your time, but hopefully it was useful? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:15 p.m.
So moved, Jeff Tillotson.
Is there a second?
Second, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara. Any objections? I won't go through the roll call if there are no objections. Hearing none. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.
See you in a month.
Good night.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Thanksgiving.